You poisoned the soup, Amara. How could you do this?
Where is the money for the food, Nene? You know you took it.
If you are thinking of getting married to more than one wife, carry a chair and sit down with your popcorn because this video is going to change your mindset. In a quiet African village where the sun rose gently over mud houses, there lived a man named Obinna. Obinna was tall, strong, with a loud voice, a man many people respected so much. Whenever Obinna walked past, people greeted him with admiration, calling him a successful man. But in Obinna's heart, success was not yet complete. He believed that a man's greatness was counted by the number of wives he had. One wife he felt was too small for a man of his stature. Though the elders often spoke of peace and warned that a divided home brings sorrow, Obinna paid little attention. Pride had already taken root in his heart. He did not know that the desire he called strength would soon turn his peaceful compound into a place of endless conflict and regret. One evening, Obinna joined the other men at the village square. They sat beneath a large ancient tree, talking about wealth, strength, and legacy. Obinna often spoke the loudest. He believed deeply that a man with only one wife had not yet proven himself. To him, one wife meant weakness, two meant effort, but three meant power. As he spoke, some men nodded in agreement, while others listened quietly. The others, however, exchanged worried glances. One of them finally cleared his throat and warned Obinna gently, saying that a home divided among many hearts will never know rest. Obinna laughed and waved the words aside. In his mind, wisdom belonged to bold men, not cautious ones. He stood up proudly and walked away, convinced he was right. What Obinna did not realize was that pride listens only to applause and never to truth. Nneka was Obinna's first wife, the woman who walked with him before wealth and recognition came. She married him with hope in her heart and patience in her spirit. Every morning she rose before the sun to sweep the compound, fetch water, and prepare his meals with care. Nneka believed that a peaceful home was built with understanding, not noise. Obinna mentioned his desire to marry another wife. Nneka felt a quiet heaviness in her chest. She did not argue or protest. Instead, she trusted that love would protect her place. Zainab arrived in Obinna's compound with celebration and drums. Her beauty was striking, her confidence obvious, and her laughter echoed through the air. Obinna watched her proudly, believing he had made a wise choice. Nneka welcomed her calmly. From that very day, the atmosphere changed. Obinna's attention began to shift, and small things that once went unnoticed suddenly mattered. Zainab observed everything carefully. Though her greetings were polite, her heart was already measuring territory. That night, as the compound slept, comparison quietly entered the home. And where comparison lives, peace does not stay long. Even with two wives, Obinna felt incomplete. When he set his eyes on Nene, young and playful, he believed marrying her would seal his reputation as a powerful man. Nene's youth brought laughter and excitement into the compound, and Obinna spent more time in her hut than the others. To him, it felt like success. To the house, it felt like danger. Zainab's jealousy deepened, and Nneka withdrew further to silence. Three women now shared one man's attention, and none of them felt secure. Obinna had unknowingly lit three fires in one compound, each demanding warmth, care, and priority. The very next morning revealed the truth Obinna refused to see. Three fires burned in three corners of the compound as each wife cooked separately. Voices rose over whose food would be eaten first, whose turn it was to serve, and who deserved respect. Obinna overwhelmed, chose shouting over wisdom. His anger silenced Nneka, provoked Zainab, and reduced Nenes to tears. That morning, Obinna ate with bitterness in his heart instead of peace. He did not understand that food prepared in anger feeds only trouble. As days passed, jealousy settled firmly in Zainab's heart. She watched Obinna laugh more with Nene and noticed how his footsteps often led to the youngest wife's hut. Every smile Obinna gave Nene felt like an insult to her. At night, while others slept, Zainab lay awake, replaying every moment in her mind. Jealousy whispered to her, promising justice if she acted, and Zainab listened. Not long after, lies crept into the compound. Zainab accused Nene of stealing food money. Nene cried and denied it. But Obinna, tired of constant noise, chose sides without truth. Trust shattered the day. Nneka watched quietly as injustice ruled her home. Lies now traveled faster than truth, and peace packed its bags. The elders summoned Obinna once more. Calmly, they warned him that a divided home cannot stand. Obinna listened but did not change. Pride still ruled him. One evening, Obinna felt really ill. Instead of care, argument filled the compound. Each wife blamed the other. Obinna lay alone, listening to quarrels instead of comfort. For the first time, doubt entered his heart. After Obinna recovered from his sickness, peace did not return with his strength. Instead, bitterness grew stronger. Each wife now cooked separately. Meals were no longer shared with love, but served with resentment. Obinna ate 3 different meals every day, yet his body felt weaker. He noticed his appetite fading, not because of hunger, but because every bite reminded him of the tension in his home. Mealtime, once a moment of joy, became something he dreaded. As he sat alone chewing in silence, he realized food prepared with anger could never nourish his heart. Still, he said nothing, hoping time would solve what wisdom already could not.
My mother is better!
The children watched everything. They heard the argument, saw the anger, and felt the division. Soon they began to copy what they had learned. Small disagreements turned into fights, and innocent play became rivalry. My mother is better. My mother is the favorite. Your mother is nothing, another replied. Obinna rushed out one afternoon to stop a fight and froze at the sight of his children, pulling at each other with rage in their eyes. In that moment, fear gripped him. He realized hatred had entered not only his marriage but the next generation. A broken home does not hide its cracks, it teaches them.
You poisoned the soup, Amara. How could you do this?
One evening, Zainab made a shocking accusation. She claimed that Nneka had poisoned the soup out of jealousy. The compound fell silent. Obinna's anger exploded before reason could speak. He shouted at Nneka, accusing her without proof. Nneka stood still, tears streaming down her face, saying nothing. Her silence cut deeper than words. Later that night, the truth surfaced. The accusation was false. Obinna felt shame burn his chest. He had wounded the one person who had always brought peace. After that night, Nneka changed. She still cooked, cleaned, and cared for the children, but her spirit withdrew. She spoke less and smiled rarely. Obinna mistook her silence for peace, not knowing silence is often the final cry of a wounded heart. The compound grew quieter yet heavier. Nneka's silence was not forgiveness, it was distance, and distance, once created, is hard to cross. One night, the tension finally exploded. Shouting pierced the darkness as accusations flew like arrows. Pots shattered, doors slammed, and neighbors rushed towards Obinna's compound. People gathered, watching in disbelief as one respected man failed to control his home. Obinna stood in the middle of the chaos, helpless, shame wrapped around him like a heavy cloth. That night, his private troubles became public disgrace. By morning, the village buzzed with whispers. People who once greeted Obinna warmly now spoke behind his back. Children laughed openly. Obinna felt smaller with every step he took through the village. He finally understood that respect is not demanded. It is earned through peace and responsibility. Pride had given him wives, but it had taken his honor. That night, Obinna dreamed of an old man with white hair and a staff. The man looked at him sadly and said, "One heart cannot carry 3 fires." Flames rose around Obinna as voices echoed. He woke up trembling, sweat covering his body. The message was clear, but fear still fought pride. As conflict increased, Obinna neglected his farm. Crops failed, money vanished, and hunger entered the home. Each wife blamed the other. Poverty settled quietly but firmly. Obinna now fought battles at home and also in his pocket. Before sunrise one morning, Nene packed her belongings and left without a word. When Obinna woke up, only her footprints remained. Anger mixed with sorrow. The youngest fire had burned out, leaving smoke behind. Jealousy finally consumed Zainab. Her body weakened, yet bitterness remained strong. No medicine healed her because the sickness lived deeper than the body. Obinna watched helplessly as his home continued to collapse. As Zainab's sickness worsened, her strength faded, but her conscience awakened. One quiet afternoon, she called Obinna to her side. With a weak voice and heavy breath, she confessed to the lies she had told, the jealousy she had nurtured, and the pain she had caused. Obinna listened, his heart breaking with every word. Anger rose within him, but regret rose higher. Zainab admitted she had never known peace since the day the third wife arrived. She believed polygamy would secure her place, but instead it poisoned her heart. When she finished speaking, tears rolled down her face. The truth, once hidden, now stood boldly between them. The next morning, Zainab asked to be taken back to her father's house. She said she needed peace more than pride. Obinna escorted her quietly, villagers watching in silence. No drums, no celebration, only the sound of footsteps and regret. At her father's gate, Zainab did not look back. Obinna stood alone, realizing that love first is love lost. Polygamy had promised abundance but delivered emptiness. Obinna returned home to Nneka, sitting alone, grinding pepper as she always had. Her calmness pierced him deeply. He knelt before her and apologized, not with pride, but with humility. He admitted his mistakes and begged for forgiveness. Nneka listened without interruption. When he finished, she spoke gently but firmly. She told him that love neglected for too long begins to fade. Forgiveness, she said, takes time. Obinna nodded, understanding that healing could not be rushed. That evening, Nneka told Obinna she would return to her father's house, not out of anger, but for her own healing. She said a woman cannot pour from an empty heart. Obinna felt the ground slip beneath him. He begged, but Nneka remained peaceful. Sometimes strength is choosing yourself. As she packed her belongings, Obinna watched helplessly, knowing he had lost the one anchor holding his home together. For the first time in years, Obinna slept alone. No argument, no laughter, no warmth, only silence. The compound echoed with memories. He walked from hut to hut, touching empty mats and cold walls. This was the reward of pride. Obinna finally understood that polygamy did not multiply love, it divided it. With humility replacing pride, Obinna returned to the elders. He confessed everything and asked for guidance. The elders listened quietly, then spoke words heavy with truth. They told him that wisdom ignored becomes pain embraced. They advised patience, repentance, and responsibility. Obinna bowed his head, finally ready to learn. Obinna returned to his farm and worked harder than ever. Under the hot sun, he labored, sweat mixing with regret. Each seed he planted felt like a prayer. Slowly, crops began to grow again. The land responded to responsibility the way love responds to care. News of Obinna's transformation reached Nneka at her father's house. She listened quietly, unsure of what to believe. People change, but wounds remember. Still, her heart softened slightly. Healing like rain begins with a single drop. One afternoon, Nneka returned to the village quietly. She stood at the edge of the compound observing. Obinna did not see her at first. When he turned, their eyes met. No words were spoken, only understand the past between them. Obinna apologized again, not just with words, but with changed actions. He promised never to repeat the mistakes of pride. Nneka listened. Forgiveness sat quietly between them. At dawn, Nneka returned to Obinna's compound, not as a wife rushing back to comfort a man, but as a woman choosing peace. Obinna welcomed her with humility, Promising never again to divide our hearts, Nneka agreed to return under one condition: honesty, respect, and no more wives. Obinna accepted without hesitation. Love stretched too thin eventually snaps. As Nneka stepped back into the compound, the air felt lighter. Yet, both of them knew healing would take time. That evening, Obinna walked past the empty hut where Zainab and Nene once lived. Silence filled the spaces where argument once echoed. This hut stood as reminders of choices made in pride. Obinna understood that forgiveness does not erase consequences, it teaches responsibility. He closed the doors gently, leaving the past where it belonged. Life slowly settled into a new rhythm. Meals were shared again, laughter returned cautiously, and children began to smile freely. Obinna involved Nneka in every decision, honoring her voice. The home felt smaller but stronger. Obinna realized happiness was never about numbers, it was about harmony. The elders called a village meeting. Obinna was asked to speak. Standing before everyone, he shared his story, his pride, his mistakes, and his loss. He warned young men not to confuse ego with strength. The village listened in silence, absorbing his words. Obinna spoke directly to the youth. He told them that polygamy without wisdom breeds rivalry, resentment, and regret. He said love cannot be multiplied like yams. It must be nurtured. His voice trembled, not with fear, but with truth earned through pain. One day, a wealthy trader offered Obinna his daughter's hand as a fourth wife, promising riches. Obinna paused, then declined. He chose peace over pride. The trader laughed in disbelief, but Obinna smiled. Strength he had learned is saying no.
Thank you for your generous offer, my friend. But I have found that true strength is knowing when to say no. I choose peace.
Nneka watched Obinna's actions carefully. Trust did not return overnight, but it returned steadily. She saw consistency, not promises. Slowly, love found its way back into her heart. Obinna's story spread beyond his village. Men began to question old beliefs. Women spoke up. A quiet shift began. Not every tradition they learn brings peace. Years later, Obinna grew old. Sitting under a tree, he shared stories with children. He spoke of mistakes so they wouldn't repeat them. His voice carried wisdom but with pain. And so the village remembered Obinna, not as the man who married 3 wives, but as the man who learned too late that love divided becomes suffering multiplied. Polygamy, when driven by pride, breaks homes and hearts. True strength lies in responsibility, respect, and restraint. Thank you for watching Tales by Sosa. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye for now.